Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Good afternoon, everybody. It's lovely being back here today. This is 12th. This is Tuesday on the 8th of August. Yeah, this is Tuesday, 8th of October 2024. Right. So it's really lovely to be here. Um we're gonna be going over some of the basic things that I teach, all right, but I just want us to take a bit of time so that some other people can join us. All right, some other people from the community. I understand that a lot of them have reached out to me talking about their schedules and how they may be unavailable to attend the live sessions, but they will definitely catch up with the recorded sessions. All right, but for those of you who are here, we're just gonna wait till a couple more people join in, and then we shoot. Yeah, Lucky Fingers, you're welcome. Mr. Adewumi, you're welcome. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. So today I'm going to be teaching you guys the concept of pivots. All right, how do the concept of pivots work? um, would most likely talk a bit about the average true range indicator, all right, and how it incorporates into your trading. All right, we'll probably talk about that, but let's start with the basics. We'll talk about pivots. We'll talk about how pivots affect your trading. We'll talk about the use of the line chart, all right, how to make use of the line chart, and so many other interesting concepts that you guys will definitely love. All right. So just in the next 2 minutes, we're going to start the stream. All right. So let's just give it 2 minutes and then we will run. Let me use that time to search for a nice soundtrack. Mm, don't worry. I just want to add some background music. Yep. Woo. All right. So I think we can start now. I think we can start now. So the first thing that we are going to be talking about is, like I said, we're going to be talking about pivots. Oh, Mr. Ajala, it's good to have you back. It's good to have you back. Welcome. Okay. All right. So let's start with the concept of pivots. All right. We're going to go to the daily time frame. That's where I love to start my own pivot trading technique from. All right. So let's reset the view, take off all of the objects. All right. We remove all the drawings and then we can go to the line chart. Now, what exactly is a pivot? All right. In order to understand what a pivot is, all right, you need to first of all understand what the line chart represent. All right. So a line chart is simply a chart that is made up of just the closing prices. All right. the only price that is recorded on a or on a line chart is the closing prices. All right, when we talk about candlestick charts, we're talking about open, high, low, close. But that's not the same for, your line chart. Your line chart only records the closing price. All right, and because of that, there's usually this scenario. All right, hold on. I'm trying to adjust this so that you can see it right there. Yeah. So because it records only the close prices. Now remember that the close price is actually almost like the most important price. All right, because it's the key information that we are looking for. The close price tells us that despite everything that happened, all right, this was the outcome. It tells us the outcome. So let me give you a picture. Imagine that you're watching a football match. Oh, all right. You're welcome. So you are Olaoluwa, beautiful. So this is what I'm trying to say. Imagine you're watching a match, all right, a football match, and it's a very tight fitting match. All right, probably both teams are on 2-2, all right, there's a draw, and peradventure one team was supposed to play penalties, and then as you were about to watch that penalty shootout, all right, suddenly your internet goes off and you're no longer able to follow the match. All right, the truth of the matter, or the reality of the matter, is that the first thing that you're going to be interested in is not going to be whether they scored that penalty or not. All right, by the time you get reconnected back to the internet, the first concern that you're going to have is who won that match. All right, what was the outcome of that match? All right, and that's why, for Christians, it's a very amazing thing knowing that scripture says that regardless what happens to you, all right, blessed be the God of our salvation, who always causes us to triumph. So it doesn't matter how the story goes during the movie, we are confident that this is how the outcome will be. All right, so that's exactly how this plays out. So that's what the line chart shows you. It shows you the outcome of the general price action. So what do we do with that information? Let me show you. So we want to see close prices that are connected to each other, all right, or that are very close to each other. So you see that if I use this straight line here, all right, if I use this straight line here, let me rewind the chart a bit. Good. You'll see that we have this pivot here. All right. If I want to extend it a bit, I would also want to say, all right, let's extend it to this particular point. All right, based on the line chart on the daily time frame. So what do we do next? We switch back to the candlestick chart. All right, and then when we switch to the candlestick chart, what are we looking for? We're looking for the 1 hour time frame or the 4 hours time frame, but we're looking for price action around that region. So let us see where the first entry is going to come from. You can see this break of structure telling us that this is a major high. All right. Since it's also a high that swept liquidity. Then this becomes our supply zone. And you can see what happened when price got there. The drop. All right. Then going further, you see that price created another break of structure. All right, breaking below these two lows. And what happened next? We have our supply zone here. Okay. The inducement, this is our inducement. This is price returning completely to the supply zone. And what do you see? Price returns to the supply zone and then the reaction happens. All right, so we're going to play this forward and see what happens again when price returns to that pivot. Now, based on this break of structure, we should be aware that there's a supply zone here. But since that supply zone is a bit big, we might be targeting the 50% of that supply zone, of that other block. All right, that was invalidated. Now, because it was invalidated, these other ones have already been retested before. All right, so what do? We come again and look for another supply zone from this area that price might be targeting. All right, this other block is one supply zone. Let me switch to the 4 hours. I think it should be clearer on the 4 hours. All right, this other block is one supply zone. All right, then the fair value gap. So you see that price retested that supply zone again. All right, and then the drop continued. But that's not the most important thing. I want to show you what happens when price crosses beyond that pivot. So from there, you can see that we had two or three buy entries, all right? 2 or 3 buy trades. But see what happened after price had done sell trades, sorry. Come on. We had the first sell trade here, the second one here, and this was the third one, all right? If we now check what happened when price broke that pivot, you see that price simply came back to this demand zone. All right, and that is why such regions are referred to as pivots. All right, the reason why we call them pivots is because, like a pivot, there are places that there are price points that price revolves around, that price loves to revolve around. All right, and because price loves to revolve around them, that is why we also position ourselves to look for entries around there. All right, so whether it's a buy entry or a sell entry, we are looking for price revolving around that particular region. And trust me, this is a very, very simple way to break down the market. All right, let's go back to the daily time frame. Let me show you something more. So right here on USD CHF, all right, right here on USD CHF, we can see that there should be a pivot at that point, exactly that point. All right, can you see? There's a pivot at this point. You can see this low, this high, price broke it. So what do? We go back to our candlestick chart. All right. Then you can go to the 1 hour time frame or the 4 hours time frame. But let's do 4 hours. Let's do 4 hours. I think USD CHF is a bit clearer on the 4 hours. And what do we see at that point? All right, at the pivot on the 4 hours, we see this supply zone. Okay. Now, once we see that supply zone, what does that tell us? It tells us that price is going to make a move for this zone, all right, and then probably sell again from there. But then what happens if price does not sell from that supply zone? It means that price would most likely break it, retest it one time or the other, and then continue to buy. You guys get it now? Do you understand the concept of pivots now? Please, if you do, I need you to drop an emoji, or I just drop any emoji, your favorite emoji, whatever. Let me just know that you guys can get what I'm explaining right now and you understand it. Just drop an emoji. Let me know that you guys are with me. All right, good. Good, 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 good. So with that in mind, let me show you a trick. So when we find pivots on the daily time frame, all right, you want to use order blocks on the 4 hours and 1 hour for your entry. Okay? The lazy programmer, I don't have any inner member on YouTube. If you're on the general group and you have access to the YouTube channel, you typically have access to everything, every session that we do on YouTube. All right, so what I'm trying to say is this. On the daily time frame, if we find our pivots on the daily time frame, we simply go to look for entries on 4 hours and 1 hour time frame. But then what happens when you get your entries? All right, what happens when you get your entries on the 5 minutes or 15 minutes? How do I get entries like that? All right, if I want to be a short-term day trader that just wants to take short, small trades, 1:3, 1:5, and get out of the market. All right, what time frame is the most appropriate time frame for drawing my pivot? The answer to that question is the 4 hours time frame. All right, so I'm going to erase all the drawings again. And then we're going to run a quick back test using the 4 hours time frame. Okay, so where should we start from? All right, I think we can start from here. All right, let's start from here. You can see that break, right? So here we've seen that price has broken that region. There seems to be, yes, seems to be some kind of pivot here too. Now, let me explain something to you guys, typically. All right, typically a pivot would be this line, all right? If we have a line like this, all right, if we have a line like this, that would be a pivot. You guys get it? If we have something like this line would be recorded as a pivot. All right. So seeing that this was previous lows touched this before it broke. All right. And here we can see a low touched it, a high, a low, a high, a high. All right. So that tells us that this is a pivot. All right. So let's select our bars. We'll go back to the candlestick chart. All right, let's do 15 minutes. So if we're looking for entries on the 15 minutes, I think we can work with, there's a fair value gap here. All right, let's see how price reacts to that fair value gap. I need you guys to follow closely what's going on the chart right now. So we see price approaching that pivot. All right. If you look closely, there is this, it's called an inside bar. All right. This is an inside bar. This green small candle that happens in between several large bearish candles. All right, that's called an inside bar. So that could be another region for entry, but we've not confirmed anything yet until we see a rejection. So hold on, price keeps coming. Remember, this pivot is our target. Good. So we have the middle line of the fair value gap, and at the same time, we have the inside bar around the pivot. So let's see what price does. Now, at this point, I could use my entry confirmation techniques and take my trade without stress, which would be the break of structure, break of trend line. But let's go on and see how price does from there. So can you see, right from the fair value gap, price has reacted, broken structure, broken the fair value gap, broken the trend line. So let's see if price is going to return for a retest. Okay, so price did not return for a retest, immediately broke the trend line, it dropped, meaning that we now have a new and very clear break of structure here. All right, now that we've seen the break of structure here, lazy programmer, thank you. Although I think it's just one of the things that happens when you've become quite familiar with the market. So we have two zones here that we're watching. So playing it forward, you will see why your pivots are actually very, very crucial. Now, you see how price intelligently avoided these two zones. All right. And the reason why is because if we come back to the 4 hours time frame on the line chart, you see that there really was no clear pivots there, because the clear pivot was what price used to reverse into this region. All right. So where is our pivot still? This is still the most logical point for our pivot, although we can say there's a minor one somewhere here. So let's go back to the 15 minutes. Now we have a smaller pivot, not a major one, just one that we're observing because of the break of structure that happened. And we can work with this as the supply zone within that pivot. So when price gets to that pivot zone, all right, we're going to observe how price reacts from it. Now, looking at this, it looks like price has already decided on what he wants to do. It didn't even get into the pivot completely. It just began to drop. Can you see that drop? And then we got another break of structure. Hold on, I'm showing you something. We got another break of structure. Remember, we still have a pivot around here. So let's play it forward again. Let me go to the 1 hour so we can see this clearly. That is a long movement. And then we see price begin to reverse back, all right, with an aim for the pivot. So what usually happens generally is that when a pivot zone gets broken, all right, price will make efforts to return back to that pivot. All right, price usually makes efforts to return back to that pivot. All right, if we check on the 4 hours time frame, hold on, let me pause this. If you check on the 4 hours time frame, let's use the line chart. You'll see that there was a small, tiny pivot around the region where this reversal came from. But you most likely would not have been able to find it. There's one here. There's another one here. All right. So this is the reason why when people say, oh, what time frame is best for finding pivots? All right. When I tell them use the daily time frame, some people get offended at that statement saying, oh, it's not going to give me a lot of trades. All right. What they forget is that it is better to not have a lot of trades, but to have accurate trades than to have so many trades and all right, and many of them are in the wrong direction. All right. Would you rather have maybe 4 or 5 trades in a week that are very accurate, or would you rather have 20, 30 trades in a week and only 5 of them hit your take profit? I think if you ask any normal thinking trader, they will tell you they prefer option 2. Are you with me? So for your pivots to be safer, all right, to be more valid, I advise naturally that you work with a daily time frame. All right, because however the daily time frame closes determines a lot on what happens in the market. But if you're going to use the 4 hours time frame, the one commodity that I have seen that the 4 hour time frame, the 4 hour time frame pivot zones works well on, the one commodity that I know, all right, happens to be gold. All right, gold is one commodity that pivot zones on that 4 hours, 1 hour, 4 hours time frame works amazingly well. All right, and that's because gold is very, very volatile. So all it just needs is one area of confirmation and then boom, it's off. See, for example, what we have here. All right, let's go to the 15 minutes time frame. Oh, sorry, I didn't. All right, so let's come to the 15 minutes time frame. It's still loading. Just give me a minute. All right, perfect. So this is the 15 minutes time frame. This would be my first area of demand. All right, and then the second one would be somewhere here. All right, and then probably third option here. But let's see how price plays this out. All right, so we're seeing price move aggressively. Also, if you're familiar with one of the entry confirmation techniques that I teach, which is the double break of structure, you can see that we've had that here. All right, so I think this could also play the role of a demand. So let's play it forward. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. All right, good. So can you see price clean went through the first area of demand that we highlighted from the double break of structure, but see what is happening at the second area of demand. So what do we do here? We're looking for our double break of structure. Although price might not necessarily return for the retest, but let's see. Second break of structure. Can you see that? So price took off from that demand zone and just kept going on. Although it's created another double break of structure for entry here. First break, the second break, and then price returned to the demand zone behind the first break of structure. All right, the demand zone that caused the initial break of structure. If we also play forward, I think this, and no, not that. Yes, this could be taken as a double break of structure with our entry here. All right, with our entry here, and then we can play this forward. Come on. All right, yeah, with our entry here, and then price just keeps going. All right, based on the double break of structure entry confirmation technique. So why am I showing you guys this? When it comes to pivots on the lower time frames, maybe 4 hours, 1 hour, and you want to use that to pick, viable active trades, my recommendation would be that you only use that on gold. All right, only on gold. Any other commodity that you want to trade, please draw your pivot zones on the daily time frame. All right, that is my very candid advice. Draw it on the daily time frame. So, having said that, hold on, let me just quickly remove this. All right, so having said that, now I want to say that I understand that sometimes getting a hang of all of these things can be challenging. All right, it can really, really, really actually be challenging. So what happens then if I want to trade and I don't have the patience or the strength to, be marking all of these and all of these and all of that? What then can I do, all right, in order to be able to take responsible trades, all right, that are, that have a high probability of playing out? So it was based on that, all right, that myself and my team came together and said, all right, it's important that we have something remarkable for our community, something that can help them get the best out of their trades, all right, without necessarily going through some of the stressful and painful, situations that some of us have had to deal with, all right, that some of us have had to deal with. So it's on that basis that I want to share something with you guys. I don't know if you guys are going to like it. I don't know if you guys are going to be interested. All right. But nonetheless, it's something that I sincerely would like to show you guys because it works for me. All right. To be very honest, it works for me. All right. So let me see. Okay. So it's on that basis that I created a couple of tools, all right, one of which is the trend oscillator. All right, this is the first version of the trend oscillator. Before the end of the month, we're going to have about one other version of the trend oscillator. But typically, what the trend oscillator does, all right, is that it gives you insight into when the market is in an uptrend, all right, when the market is in a downtrend, or it also tells you when the market is going to be flat for a while. All right, it tells you when the market is going to be a bit weak. So what I generally do, all right, maybe I'm using it on the 4 hours time frame, for example, or maybe on the 1 hour time frame, which, by the way, is my favorite time frame to use this on. So say I'm on the 1 hour time frame, all right, and then the trend oscillator is showing me that the current trend all along has been bearish, all right, and then the trend oscillator enters into the flat territory, all right, enters into the flat territory. What do? I instantly go and check. Sorry, let me remove this. I instantly check on that time frame if there is a supply zone that price has just entered. Yes, the lazy programmer, it's called IPPS. That's the trading strategy. Extremely simple, extremely amazing, works like magic. All right, and this is just one of the approaches to IPPS. It's not the major thing about IPPS. It's just one of the ways to use IPPS. So you can see we are in a downtrend. You know, the trend oscillator comes into the flat territory and there is this supply zone. What do? I'm able to take a sell trade. All right. Remember, this is a tool that does not repaint. All right. It's not something that you have to always battle with every single time. Now, let's look at another scenario. This is already in the flat territory. All right, so what do? We search for demand or supply zones that price could be entering into. And what do we have here? Our entry, that's our supply zone. All right. Now, generally what happens is that if I have a supply zone that price enters into and does not, maybe price broke that supply zone, all right, because I've had questions like that. What do? It simply means that the trend is most likely going to change. So hold on and wait to see if the oscillator is going to break outside of the flat trend, all right, if it's going to break higher or lower. If it breaks lower, you can continue searching for your sell entries, all right, but if it breaks higher, just wait for a retest and then you can enter your trade. And by the way, this was this is a chart of V75 on the 1 hour time frame. All right. So I want you guys to give me one commodity. All right. Just name one commodity that you would like me to analyze. And I'm going to show you how I would analyze that commodity using just this oscillator. All right. Using just the IPPS trend oscillator, nothing else. Just market structure and the trend oscillator. So name one commodity and we'll do the joint analysis together right here. And don't forget, if you're still listening to me, if you're still here, please like the stream, all right? Make sure to like the stream so that more people can get to find this and join us soon. All right, USD JPY. Let's go to USD JPY. All right, so first things first, I want to select my trend oscillator. I'm coming to my 1 hour time frame. And then when I zoom in, you'll see that according to the trend oscillator, we are in a bullish trend. We're in an uptrend. All right, we're in an uptrend. And what does that tell me? That tells me that I can start to look for buy entries. So generally what happens, I want to watch what is going to happen when the trend oscillator gets into the flat market. All right, when it gets into the flat region, is it going to be close to this demand zone? All right, or this particular demand zone? So those are my two options for entry on USD JPY, live and direct. Can you guys see that? These are my two options for entry, just like that. All right, no stress, no headache. Just look at the trend oscillator and find your demand and supply. That's it. And remember, I was telling you the other time that if, for example, I have my supply zone here. All right, watch it. I had my supply zone here because the IPPS trend oscillator was bearish before. All right. And then while it was bearish, it came into the flat market region. And this was my supply zone at that point in time. Right? But watch what happens. Immediately price broke that supply zone. What did price do? It came back to retest that same supply zone as an entry for a buy. Can you see that? It came back into that exact supply zone that has now flipped over as a demand, all right, and then used that as an entry. So typically, I know this is a mentorship session, all right, but I need you guys to understand that there's been a lot of work put into a tool like this, all right, to simplify your trading, give you, clearer sentiments, help you understand better. Oh, all right, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. As against when you have no clue and you just have to work basically off the back of, just your technical prowess or your technical analysis alone. All right, so that is the IPPS trend oscillator. It's a part of a comprehensive trading mechanism or a comprehensive trading system that, to be very honest, I don't think I will be teaching the strategy anymore. All right, as from this, by the end of this month, I would no longer be teaching the original IPPS concept, all right? Because like I said, there are a variety of strategies or concepts under the IPPS concept, all right? But by the end of this month, I will no longer be teaching that particular one, all right? Because I'm going to just focus on the simplest one that you guys can understand in 2 weeks, all right? That you guys can understand in just 2 weeks, all right? And currently, that IPPS trend oscillator is available for free. All right, currently is available for free in the free Telegram group. All right, just go through the files and the documents. You'll see the indicator. You'll see there's a folder. All right, there's a folder IPPS commercial demo. There's the instructional guide inside it. Then the trend oscillator, and then I think one other tool. All right, so I believe that these things are going to help you improve your trading to a very large extent. All right, so you can easily download that from the Telegram group. It's completely free of charge. Remember that. All right, and then test it out on your own, of your own volition, and then let us know how this tool ends up working for you. All right, does it end up giving you better trade opportunities or not? We would like to hear your feedback. All right, so basically, guys, that is going to be the end of this stream for today. All right, I think it's been about 45 minutes of value. All right, I think it's about 45 minutes of value. So before I end the stream, let me quickly respond to Mr. Olaoluwa. So basically, The next version of the trend oscillator we're working towards, all right, is actually going to work on your trading view. All right, we are incorporating the IPPS oscillator as a trading view system. All right, that should be ready probably before the end of the month. I can't really promise. All right, but that's the plan. All right, so if you do not have a laptop or a desktop computer to install the current demo, just hold on. The TradingView version will be released in a few weeks. All right, and you could definitely make use of that. All right, so thank you so much, guys, for joining in on the call today. Thank you for showing up. All right, it's always amazing having you guys enjoy this little time that we have together with you guys. So, till next week when I come your way again, I remain your friend, your brother, Adetola Freeman, and we're going to be seeing again next week, Thursday, by 2 p.m. West African time. I love you guys and have a fantastic and profitable rest of the trading week. Goodbye and God bless you. Bye bye.